How you doing, people? Today we have a rear suspension modifications going on. We're gonna install these rear coilovers with the new shocks. So let's get to it. If you have like W203 C-Class, your rear shocks are in a trunk. So you basically remove this piece, same here, and there you have it, this bolt, right like that one, exactly. So that is easy. I know it's a lot of wires, but those wires are for my parks, I think. If I could remember, I removed it some, as you can see, some rugs. And yeah, so that's how you're gonna get those. So it's pretty easy if this is like the access, because I was trying to pull like this rear seats, like the sides. It doesn't want to go properly somewhere else, are screws at the top. So gonna do this one. Have a quick tip for you guys. So if you're dealing with something like when you need to change your spring or shock absorber, or together like in the front usually be here, like here in the rear, it's like separate shock and the spring. So but the shock is sitting separately, you can easily take it off as you saw, but for the spring you have somehow to compress it from underneath and then untie some bolts that is holding this bracket, that, as you can see, like the bracket underneath is sitting, which means it has tension to expand, and you don't want to unscrew that, and that is just gonna shoot you, you know. So what I usually do, I just take a jack stand and like push it, you know, upwards, then remove the bolt, and then you can slowly start to disassemble like that, and it's basically gonna loosen the spring completely, just like that. As you can see, I just undoing, because the spring is like loaded, so that's why I use jack stand instead of some kind of lift. You can easily lower it, and then you can switch your different spring and do the same again. Put a jack and go upwards. That way you load inside these holes, as you can see. So that's easy. You can get access to your spring here. You can lower this thing down. You can remove your spring. Boom, gone. And then to put it back, you just do exactly the same but backwards. So you place the spring inside upwards, you press it down, and then you use this to press it upwards, and you use your jack to go inside the grooves and to put the bolt. How to do it? So you basically install your spring same as the original was like installed. I don't know about the lowering. I choose like this part to be that adjustable, because if I'm gonna put this cap like inside, I cannot reach it with any tool, and if I want to adjust, I have to remove everything and then adjust. So I think this is going to be the best solution for adjusting. So basically, let's try to just pull it again inside and see how it is. Yep. So you can adjust a bit with your hand if it goes like sideways. Yep, like that. You can see how it's going on. Like that's how basically you install your spring over there. And now with a shock. So we have a brand new shock, of course. There's rubber bushings over here. There's a screw, so you have to remove that. What I like to do is take the old shock, which has this kind of rubber on top. So you just remove it, just like that. You don't need it anymore. And then, of course, you clean it a bit, at least from the dirt. And then, as you can see, it's only like bare metal, so we want to place the shock because this is like a hard rubber, so it will absorb some things. So basically, that's how you do it. There is like a washer, which is like long one, so you keep that inside. You don't want to lose it. And how to install it? So first, you have to basically compress it, just like that. You can hold it if you want. It doesn't require much of force. You can hold it. I'm usually holding by this like cover, and then I grab onto the metal, so that way it's not going to like go back. And that's how you actually doing it. So then you see where your rubber washer is supposed to go. You put this thing in, and that's how you do it actually. Then you don't forget your screw. I brought a new screw because the solder was cut it off, as you saw. So you place it in like that, and inside the hole you release it, and it's gonna be loose because of course you're lifted the car, so it's like all the way extracted. And don't forget, it's a lowering spring, so it should be slightly lower. Here we have a new nut, and then you just tie everything up real nice. That is basically how you do it. I usually use like copper spray for the bolts, so in a further time it's not going to, you know, seize up that fast if you keep maintaining them with something like this, like chemicals, oils, copper. Probability of your things to last are really high, and that's basically how you do it. So I will show you how to do it on the top, on the inside. So you tie it, and you're gonna see over there. You can see it. So here we have this shock strut. It has on the top like these grooves. Those are for a reason. So first things you want to do, you take your big washer, you place it on like that, So it sits. There you have your nut. These nuts are always like with the rubber tight. Then you just, as you can see, probably tie this up. And the reason for these grooves on the top, it's flat on both sides, so you can, if needed, while you're tensioning this and the whole shack wants to like twist because it's new rubber, it's pretty bendy, so you can grab it with a wrench, this top, and then you hold it, and then you can tie this with a normal wrench. So that's how you basically do it. Nothing else to say. Pretty easy. I think anyone can do it who understands what they are doing actually. And here we go. We have this top that wants to spin. Maybe you can see. It spins together with the shock. So now I'm gonna take a wrench or something and just gonna hold it. Alright, so here I have a wrench, which I just placed it on top. The grooves, for my example, it should sit like in this direction, because that's how I opened it and found it. So I recommend you always to do the same, how you're gonna find it, and then leave it like that. So then you're gonna just tie this up while holding the shack. Easy as that. And you're gonna tie it up basically until the end, until these grooves are gonna end and you cannot push it no more. That's pretty tight space. That's a lot of wires. So those wires are for my park sensors that I have installed it for I don't know how many years, maybe 3-4 years ago. In this car I have like, I don't know, it's gonna be like 5 years, I think. It's a pretty long time. It was one of my first cars actually. I think it was my like 3rd car. So yeah. All the coils are in place. I did the rear, the other side. It was a bit challenging because there was a 1 bolt that holds the underneath that bracket. It did not let go. Even if I heat it up, cool it, I smashed it, it didn't want to go out, so I just cut it off and I did a new bolt. So how it looks? Well, it looks really, I mean, it looks pretty much lower than it was. Right now it fits like 2 fingers, and with the stock it fitted like 4, so definitely means that it's lower. And yeah, so now we changed everything and we are gonna go and do like the alignment, I think maybe for tomorrow. So we basically need to put the car, the wheels especially, in level, and then we need to level it out and adjust all the coils, all the heights to be exactly the same as it should be. So I think that's gonna be for tomorrow, because today we do not have the tool for it. I have a special tool. I'm gonna show you what you can use to do some works like that if you're doing body kit, or you're doing some kind of body work like which is like custom. You're gonna have to like do your own style, size, measurements. So I'm gonna show you tomorrow. And yeah, basically how it looks, let me show you. So as you can see, the front looks real low right now. I basically carved out tiny bit so it won't like ram, because it started to ram because of the rear. And how it basically looks, as you can see, the rear is slightly tilted, like slightly, so which means we have to adjust, of course, like the front or maybe the rear. That adjustment needs to be put in a different position. So we're gonna do that tomorrow, because if we want to be level and we want to be enough good, like with the side skirts, with how like tall, how high everything should be, we have to make everything really level, everything set up. And yeah, basically I think that's gonna be it. So we did actually a lot for like full set of coils with a bolts that didn't want to come out. It's pretty challenging, but we kind of managed to do, as I say, like in a full day, like if 12 or 10 hours fully we can accomplish that. So that's a really great result and pretty big job. It's like done, and basically tomorrow's gonna be a bit easier. So as always, drop a like if you like it, and see you guys tomorrow.